Hello, Klaus here, and welcome back to yet another video here at the channel. In today's video, I want to give you a challenge. I want to challenge you and your creativity to make some great little videos or product shots, stuff like that. So I did this challenge myself not very long ago, and I came up with this little spot for a Lucky Luke figurine. I just love that. It's part of my childhood. So anyway, have a look at what I did. So when I set myself up to do this challenge, I decided that I would do something that would feel nostalgic to me. My shot should also at least have a box, a reveal of the product, and the use of the product. And that's what I did in this video you just saw. So anyway, I'll just run you to how I did the shots and the process of that. And if you want to do this challenge for yourself, here is a way to spice it up just a little bit, and I did that as well. Take a timer, set that to 45 minutes or something around that time frame, or whatever you think is suitable, half an hour, whatever. Start filming, do all of your preparations, do everything within that time frame, and when that bell rings, stop what you're doing. And then you just have to see if you can make that happen in the editing so it will look just the way you imagine it. So that's just a little thing you can do to make this challenge even more challenging and fun, because I actually had a lot of fun making that video. So I'll talk you through my process here. First, I decided to build the scene, and I did that with some super cheap product boards from Amazon, you know, the ones with different textures. I just used those and I put those together using three, one for the bottom and two for the side, and I did do a little bit of DIY to make that stand with some gaffer's tape, but that's pretty okay. And for the light setup, I used two apertures and some diffusion material, and in this case I used the Lee 216, which is the best diffusion material you can get. It is a bit pricey, but you can get it in sheets instead of a roll like I have. So I quickly decided to do most of the shots on a green screen because of the size of my backdrops and my plate. It wasn't that big and I wanted to create more depth. So that's why I found a Lazy Susan and placed my product on that and created a green screen out of a couple of papers and a little green screen I had in the back. And then I just did my shot as fast as possible, and of course using a decent amount of time to light that pretty well. After doing all of the Lazy Susan shots, I did all my practical shots, and I had two of those. I had a practical shot of the product on the table and then the cartoon being placed. And then again, the second practical shot where Rataplan being placed in front of the cartoon, and that was kind of the end of the practical shot. So now it was time to create the finishing shot, the hero shot for my little commercial. However, this is where things went in the wrong direction for me, because this is when my timer went off and, you know, I had to stop shooting. So I had to figure out how to do the hero shot in post, which I actually did, and that turned out pretty well, I think. Okay, so that was a pretty quick look into how I shot everything for this little commercial. However, now I want to go into DaVinci Resolve and I'll just talk you through what I did editing wise in DaVinci Resolve, and hopefully that will be very useful for you as well. Okay, so here we are in DaVinci Resolve, and I'll just run you through my edit here. So my top layer right here is an adjustment clip, and that is where I have the final look and grade I did. So I'm just going to toggle that off because, yeah, it's a pretty hefty grade. So just going to toggle that off. Anyway, let's go through the first shot here. And here we have the first shot. This is the box turning shot. And the way this was achieved, actually, this is done with the green screen clip, but there was no movement at all. It was just a plain green screen clip. And I'm just going to take off the box here. Because I did also create the background, and I did that, luckily, when I did the shoot, I did a couple of plates of the textures. And I actually just made that out of that, and then I made it all go out of focus because, that's not the main object of the shot. That is the box itself. So I didn't put the box in, and then I just rotated the box actually using the inspector, and then just setting keyframes and then letting it rotate around itself. And that's how I did the first shot. It's actually pretty simple. For the second shot, again, I went with my green screen shot, and here I wanted to showcase the background of the box. So that's the portion I took. Just this little spin here. And again, I did do some speed ramping on the box itself because I was shooting this at 60 frames a second just to make it go from slow to fast. That's why I did that. And also did a adjustment clip here to do a little bit of a zoom movement. It's not very big, but I do have camera movements on these. Extremely small, you hardly can see it. And then, I just had a background and I blurred that out. So pretty basic. For the next shot, which is still a green screen shot though, I did the same thing. Green screened the box and then speed ramped it and made it land. And then I did some drop shadow, adding that. And I also did that for the other shots, by the way. Some drop shadow, and that's more or less it. And then we come for the part where I do my reveal. So as soon as this land, I'm going to do this reveal here of the product. And that's actually pretty simple made. So I just lined up my both products. I'm just going to take this off actually. I just lined up my products first. So I have here this, and then out of nothing, comes Lucky Luke here. And that is, again, green screen shot, spinning. However, I wanted to make it kind of not an explosion, but some kind of a poof smoke transition between the things. And then I used this smoke sphere I found on Storyblocks, I believe. And, all I did was I added that in and changed the color from white to a more yellowish color because that just looked better. And then I simply did this transition here, super simple, just by using the crop tool in the inspector. So I just cropped first the box, following the smoke up, and then I did the exact same thing with Lucky Luke, following after the box disappearing. And then we just ended up by having this little thing, and then he just turned around, and I did some graphics here. Just basic information, nothing too fancy. And for the next shot, this is my practical shots. And here I did, again, camera movements on my 2 adjustment clips, because that's all it is. Simple. And then, I just did these small camera movements. Like that, using the adjustment clip. And the main reason I'm using the adjustment clip actually is I just find it easier than doing it on the clip, because sometimes you change your mind and don't want to do a small in zoom or zoom out. And then it's just easier just to take the adjustment clip and push D on the keyboard to deselect it. And then it'll be gone. And it's just an easy way of doing it. And then we come to this shot here. My time was out. I had no more time. So what I did, I had the box, and I also had Lucky Luke, but I took a shot where he was just standing and not moving, and I actually just used the magic mask to cut him out of the other background, because the other background were the same as I had here, but it was just a little too close for the hero shot I wanted to create, so that's why I just took it from there. And the Rataplan here, the magic mask couldn't fix him, so I actually had to mask him out, but that's pretty fast done in the editing page. I don't know why Imagic couldn't figure out what kind of an object he was. So for all the green screening I did, actually all of the green screening I did in the color page. I know you can do it in the edit page or at the Fusion page, but for me it's just sometimes faster to do in the color page. Sometimes I would have preferred to do it in Fusion, but I wanted to create this little spot in the same manner as I filmed it, not using too much time and energy on it, just finishing up the edit. And I think actually it turned out pretty well. So for this part here, I'm just going to show you the process like this, where you can see the before and after and how it is in the timeline. Okay, so that was a look at my workflow doing this challenge. I hope you find the video useful, and I would love to see what you come up with later on. So send me your videos or link them down in the description below so I can have a look, and maybe I'll just do a follow-up video where we have a look at all of your work. If that's something, maybe I'll do that. If you like this kind of content and want to learn more about filmmaking tips and tricks and DaVinci Resolve, you can visit the homepage or continue watching here on YouTube. I do hope you found this little video useful. If you did, please hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, share it with your friends if you think it would help them out, and if you want to be notified every time there's a new video on this channel, please hit that bell icon down in the corner. Until next time, keep filming, keep learning, and keep sharing.